wherever you are. Welcome back to yet another session of the Bhagavad Gita. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We were looking at the 11th chapter, and almost I think we've come close to completing it. We will so we have, I think, what, five, 6 shlokas. You can see my screen, I think, right? So we saw this na Veda Yajnai Adhyayanai thing. Mate Vyatha Ma Vimudha Bhavo Drishtva Rupam Ghoram Idran Mamedam. We saw this also, right? So we have to start from 50. So this is all Krishna speaking. He says, I'll come back to my regular form and see this benign form of mine. Then Sanjaya Uvacha Ityarjunam Vasudevas Tatoktva Swakam Rupam Darshayamasa Bhuyaha Ashvasayamasa cha bhitamenam bhutva punas saumya vapur mahatma. So he goes back to his previous form. So saying thus, Krishna revealed his previous form. The terrified Arjuna was reassured once Krishna took on the pleasant form. So tatha, after this, so having gone back to this, form, iti. So the request from Arjuna was, please, I want to see you in the benign form. And he says, okay, tatha iti Vasudevaha Arjunam uktva. So saying, okay, all right, I will get back to the older form. Saying this, Swakam Rupam Bhuyaha Darshayamasa. So having said these words, he showed, Darshayamasa is, he revealed, he displayed, he showed his previous form, his natural form. Mahatmana Saumya Vapuhu Punaha Bhutva. So Mahatmana of the great one, Saumya Vapuhu, benign form. Punaha Bhutva, after he took this form again, Bhitam Enam Ashvasayamasa. So Ashvasana, he gave him assurance, solace, Ashvasayamasa, the past tense. So the one who was Bhita, one who was terrified, to him, he gave the assurance. So basically, I've gone back to the old form, don't have to worry about it. He gives him assurance. Sanjaya Uvacha Ityarjunam Vasudevas Tathoktva Swakam Rupam Darshayamasa Bhuyaha Ashvasayamasa cha bhitamenam Bhutva punas saumya vapur mahatma. Thank you. Then Arjuna says, Arjuna Uvacha Drishtvedam Manusham Rupam Tava Saumyam Janardana Idani Masmi Samvrittaha Sachetaha Prakritim Gataha. So now the whether it's intentional or suggestive, it's nice that after all these long verses, once Krishna takes back his benign form, then Arjuna is back to Anushtup, simple 8 syllables per line. So Arjuna Vacha, having looked at this human form of yours, O Janardana, I am, fulfilled, I feel at ease, and I am light of heart, and so on. So Janardana, again, epithet of Krishna, Saumyam Manusham idam tava rupam drishtva. Saumyam, benign, and Manusham, human form, because what he saw was a superhuman display of the Vishwarupa. Now he has taken back the human form. So excuse me, having looked at this benign and human form, drishtva, having seen, idanim prakritim gataha. So you have gone back to your natural form. Sachetaha samvrittaha asmi. So with sachetaha, like with my awareness, samvrittaha, I feel fulfilled, I feel relaxed, I feel at ease now that you have taken this natural familiar form. So Arjuna Uvacha,
Arjuna Uvacha,
Drishtvedam Manusham Rupam,
Drishtvedam Manusham Rupam,
Tava Saumyam Janardana,
Tava Saumyam Janardana,
Idanim Asmi Samvrittaha,
Idanim Asmi Samvrittaha,
Sachetaha Prakritim Gataha.
Sachetaha Prakritim Gataha.
Then Krishna says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Sudurdarsham idam rupam drishtvanasi yanmama, drishtvanasi yanmama, deva apyasya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinaha. So this universal form of mind which you have seen is extremely rare. Even the devas and the gods are always longing to see me in this form. Yet sudurdarsham, so that is which is very rare, very difficult to see. Idam mama rupam, this form of mine. Drishtvanasi, you have seen this very, very rare form of mine. Devaha api asya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinaha. Even the devas are always desirous of seeing this cosmic universal form. Question may arise that Krishna says nobody has seen this before, it has never happened before, only you have seen it, nobody can see it, and so on. So how come the devas are longing for it? One should not worry too much about this because it's a poetic expression here. But one explanation could be that devas are always heard about this, but they never got a chance to see it. They didn't get a chance to see it. You're seeing this. So basically, all through this time, Krishna is trying to ensure that Arjuna feels special and gets this, feeling that hey, this is something which has never happened before. So therefore, it is a very auspicious time, and therefore I have to do what needs to be done. So maybe that could be one of the explanations. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha,
Sudurdarshamidam Rupam.
Sudurdarshamidam Rupam,
Drishtvanasi Yanmama.
Drishtavanasi,
Drishtavan is one.
Drishtavanasi,
Yanmama.
Drishtavanasi Yanmama,
Deva Apyasya Rupasya.
Deva Apyasya Rupasya,
Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha.
Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha.
Naham Vedairna Tapasana Danena Chejyaya Shakya Evam Vidho Drashtum Drishtavanasi Mam Yatha. So you cannot know me, nobody can see me the way you have seen me, whether it is by the study of the Veda or by Yajna, Dana, Tapas, whatever be the form, the way you have just seen this cosmic form, nobody else can see. So, Yatha Mam Drishtvanasi, the manner in which you have seen me in this universal form, Aham Evam Vidaha, in this particular form, it's not possible to see me. So, Vedaihi na, neither through the Veda, neither through the study of the Vedas or recitation of Vedas, you can attain this. Tapasa na, neither through tapas, austerity and single-minded focus on work and meditation, you cannot accomplish this through tapas. Danena na, No, neither through dana, nor through dana, which is like charity and philanthropy. Ijjaya chana kenapi. So neither by yajna, tapas, dana, nor yajna. So ijjaya, neither by this yajna or worship. Drashtum shakyaha. It's not possible to see me by any of these means. So yajna, is the Vedic ritual, a fire ritual. Dana is philanthropy. Tapas is austerity, and study of Veda, which is the foremost revealed scriptures. So none of these paths will help you in seeing the form that I have seen. It's not possible for anybody to do it through this form. So naham vedairna tapasa,
नाहं वेदैर्न तपसा
na danena na chejyaya,
न दानेन न चेज्यया
shakya evam vidho drashtum,
शक्य एवं विधो द्रष्टुं
दृष्टवानसि माम यथा.
दृष्टवानसि मां यथा
भक्त्या अनन्यया शक्य अहमेवं विधोर्जुन ज्ञातुं द्रष्टुं च तत्वेन प्रवेष्टुं च परन्तप. However, I may be known and seen and attained through single-minded devotion. So Parantapa, scorcher of foes, Arjuna, evam vidaha aham ananyaya bhaktya tu tatvena jnatum drashtum cha praveshtum cha shakyaha. So evam vidaha, in this particular form, aham ananyaya bhaktya, single-minded devotion. A bhakti that is ananya, that bhakti that is not distracted, which is not scattered, but extremely focused bhakti, tatvena jnatum. So indeed, in reality, you can know me, jnatum, drashtum, you can see me, and praveshtum cha shakya, you can also attain me, you can enter me, you can attain my state. So single pointed devotion is the key to attain this, he says. So bhaktya tvananyaya shakya,
भक्त्या त्वनन्यया शक्य
ahamevam vidhorjuna,
अहमेवं विद्धोऽर्जुन
jnatum drashtum cha tatvena,
ज्ञातुं द्रष्टुं च तत्त्वेन
praveshtum cha parantapa.
प्रवेष्टुं च परन्तप.
Finally, he says, Mat karma krin mat paramo mad bhaktah sangavarjitah nirvairah sarva bhuteshu yaha samameti pandava. So, one who is truly devoted to me, dedicates all actions to me and looks upon me as the supreme. He is free from attachments and he does not hate anyone. Without doubt, he attains me. So, Pandava, this again, Yaha mat karma krit, who is dedicating actions to me, who is doing actions for the larger benefit. Mat paramaha, who recognizes me as the supreme being. Mat bhaktaha, one who is devoted to me. Sarvajitaha, sarvabhuteshu nirvairaha. So sarvajitaha, he has basically, sarvajita means one who has defeated everything, but here it means one who is free from attachments. Or no, savarjita, savarjita. Sorry, not sarvajita, savarjita. So one who is varjita is like free from all attachments. So varjita is free or rid of, but savarjita in this context means one who is free from attachments. And sarva bhuteshu nirvairaha. So one who is having no enmity towards anybody. Saha mam eti, such a person attains me. So the multiple conditions here. One is mat karma krit, one who does my work, one who does actions dedicated to me, or one who works with universal welfare in mind. That kind of a um, uh, then mat paramaha, one who looks upon me as supreme, one who is truly dedicated to me, mad bhaktaha, savarjitaha, who has renounced, who's detached, And very important thing here is Sarva Bhuteshu Nirvairaha. So, although the idea is that Krishna is saying that you are considering me as supreme, it is totally different from a monotheistic idea, which is like you only pray to one God and all others are false gods, all others are not worthy of worship, all others are terrible. But here he is, the fact that he says that Sarva Bhuteshu Nirvairaha, he is treating this Bhagavan Sri Krishna or Brahman as the supreme being and is having genuine love and affection for all beings. So there is no question of me and other. There is no question of, oh, this is my faith. I am a devotee of this God. You are a devotee of that God. So therefore, I hate you. This concept itself is alien to this traditional system of our, civilization. That we don't look at us and them. We look at everything as part of the same Brahman. This is a very, very subtle but very valuable addition that Vyasa makes here when he says Sarvabhuteshu Nirvairaha. So, without doubt, this person will attain my state of being. So, Mat Karma Krin Mat Paramo.
Mat Karma Krin Mat Paramo.
Mat Bhakta Sangavarjita. Oh, it is Sangavarjita. Okay, sorry. This my Anvaya thing has some mistake. I'll make a change. That's why I was wondering what is this. Sorry, my bad. So Sangha Varjita means basically freed from attachment. Yeah. So not Savarjita. Okay. So Pandava ya mat karma krit mat paramaha mat bhaktaha Sangha Varjitaha Sarva Bhuteshu Nirvairaha Saha Mam Eti. Now it makes sense. Sorry. So let's just read that line once again. Mad bhaktaha sangavarjitaha.
Mad bhaktaha sangavarjitaha.
Nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu.
Nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu.
Yaha samameti pandava.
Yaha samameti pandava.
So with this we come to the end of the 11th chapter. Now the 11th chapter is it's very interesting, very poetic. It's kind of a nice follow through after the 10th. Especially the younger children, when they first come across the 11th chapter, they're very excited because it's such a wonderful spectacle. And Vishwarupa Darshana is something everybody is familiar with, even though they may not have studied Gita, even though they may not be very thorough with the tradition. Somehow just this Vishwarupa Darshana itself is a beautiful concept everybody is familiar with. And what is the import of this chapter? It can be explained in few lines. That after all the discussion in the 10th chapter and how Krishna talks about the glory of the Supreme Being in a variety of ways, Arjuna asks him, I want to see it in flesh and blood. I want to have a vision of it. Then he gives him the vision of Vishwarupa Darshana. That's the import of the chapter, basically. But this importance of this chapter, so every chapter in the Gita has something interesting, and every part, every concept, every portion has something interesting. But at the same time, we may not be attracted to all the different aspects. So the whole idea is the Gita itself offers these multiple opportunities. So only few people will be there who can look at all the the entire gamut of what the Gita has to offer. Most of us will select whatever is relevant to us, right? So it's like in a question paper when you're writing an examination, there are these options will be given. So either A or B. You can choose A or B based on which you have studied better. There'll be one or two exceptional students in every 10 years who will be able to solve the entire paper with all the side questions, everything in that stipulated 3 hours, right? So not everybody can do that. Only really brilliant person who's so thorough with the subject, he will answer all the questions, including the different choices within the 3 hours. Similarly, there will be few people in this one lifetime who will be able to go through all the aspects of jnana and bhakti and karma and everything and completely exhaust. Very, very few people. For most of us, given a short period of time of 60 years or 100 years or whatever number of years we are here, in this time with the limited resources, limited intelligence that we have, we try to take whatever is most suitable for us. If we try to take everything, it will become too much. So we take whatever. If there are two choices, we take the one which is most relevant to us, easier for us, right? So there are some people who will find 11th chapter very interesting. Some people will find 6th chapter very interesting. Those who have got a meditation interest, they will like 6th chapter. People who are more interested in self cultivation, self improvement, they will like the 12th chapter more. Like this, different people will get attracted by different things. It is very interesting that D.V. Gundappa in his work, he talks about how it is an established practice to recite this entire chapter of Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, the 11th chapter of Gita, when the monastic name is given to the ordained renunciate during the ritual of accepting sannyas ashrama. It is so suggestive when a person moves to sannyas. So traditionally, I told you that there is brahmacharya, which is student life, then grihastha which is the life of a householder, then vanaprastha which is kind of a retired life where there is still active connection with society, but you are not expecting anything. And finally, you're giving up everything completely and going to sannyasa. So at the time of accepting sannyasa diksha, they usually give a monastic name. Like we have Swami Vivekananda. His name was, Purvashrama name was Narendranath Datta. But when he took sannyasa ashrama, he became Swami Vivekananda, right? So this particular rite, there is a particular ritual of accepting sannyasa, and during that time, it is an established practice to recite the Vishwarupa Darshana. Why would he recite Vishwarupa Darshana? It would be better to recite the 12th chapter or 2nd chapter or 18th chapter. But here, the most important thing is for a sannyasi is that self-cultivation anyway is going to do. But that idea of universal welfare and the grandeur of the Supreme, he should not forget. Maybe that's the intention. This is what I think. So, starting of the chapter, 11th chapter, Arjuna first starts off saying, yes, I have understood what you are saying. My delusions are gone, and I'm clear. I have no doubts. I'm satisfied with your answers. But the wisdom, whatever Krishna has said, it's possible that it may slip away. So therefore, Arjuna wants a visual thing to remember, right? Sometimes when we are reading something which is complicated, then we do a little bit of a mind map or some sketch or something visual for us to understand. Or when we read about some historical episode, we also want to see if there are some visuals, some photographs from some World War I, or if there's a documentary film or something. When we see a visual, that has so much more appeal to us than just reading some text. So he want to know that if there's a possibility to see this in flesh and blood, that will be a very powerful reassurance for him. So he says, I want to see, but I don't know whether it's possible without any special listing. So if you feel that I can take it, then let me know. So then all these, Krishna has told about the nature of the supreme being. So he says, Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Stitaha, and all these things, right? So he has told in many words in the 10th chapter, even earlier, about the nature of the supreme being. And Arjuna wants to see that in flesh and blood. So Krishna says, see the entire, you can see the entire universe in all its glory, in all it with its moving and non-moving elements. Everything is assembled in my being. You can see whatever you wish to see, you can see. And for that, I will grant you special vision, because with your normal eyes, you cannot see it. So it is something beyond this world. so the brightness and the effulgence is so great, you will not be able to see it. So I'll give you special vision. Now, it's important when we ask for some special gift, when we ask for some special preferences and privileges, we should also ask for the protection. So, just because you have some special privilege, it does not come without its responsibility, without its warnings, right? So, whenever you anything which has got the power to do something huge also has the power to destroy. So anything which is very powerful comes with a warning symbol. So similarly here, along with the desire to see, he also asks for this special vision as a protection. And then, of course, the spectacle is wonderful. Like 1,000 suns were to appear in the sky at the same time. That brilliance maybe perhaps could resemble the splendor of this being, and the entire cosmos is in the body of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. All the devas and different beings, everybody are getting crushed into powder and entering his fiery mouths, and it's a spectacle. And Arjuna is shocked. Initially he thought it would be very nice, but then he's really shocked. Oh my god, what is happening? What is the nature and purpose of this? I'm not able to understand. So all this while he has been only hearing to the ideas, he has been listening to the description, and now when he actually sees it, it's a huge spectacle. It's something which is terrifying him. And always when we see the truth in all its nakedness, it is very scary. We like to see only part of the truth. The reality of the world has both beauty and terror, right? When we go and stand in front of Himalaya or Grand Canyon or Amazon forest, we see the beauty of nature and so nice and stunning. Similarly, when we see that people grow old and they get diseased and they die, that ghastly reality is also part of nature. So just like this beauty is part of nature, there's also harsh realities are part of nature. So everything together, he had a direct visceral experience, and immediately he says, please get back to your normal form. I can't take this anymore. This is I don't understand what's happening. So he says, take it back. And when he asks Krishna, please explain your nature and purpose, that's when he says, I am death, I am Kala, I am time, the mighty destroyer of the world. I am engaged in the destruction of all creation. And it tells him, don't think that you're so important that without you this war will not happen. I have already killed all the enemies and everyone. Just fight merely to show your skill in archery. You are a great ambidextrous archer. Just think of yourself as an instrument to fulfill. It is already done. But you are just, being the messenger to just fulfill the last thing. It's like, you made a bank transaction and then you are sending a receipt through one guy to your vendor. So the bank transaction is already done. This receipt is just a formal thing to say that, oh, this money has been sent. So like that, you think of yourself as just a conveyor of this, message. So it's just your nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. He says, just fight, just be there and do your thing as an instrument. You're not doing anything. It's already done. And that vision that all these great heroes have come and crushed in this cosmic form of Bhagavan. Then Arjuna is really surprised that his good friend with whom he spent so many years suddenly turns out to be this super duper god. So then what does he say? Oh my God, I have been so careless and I was, treating you like just one more of my friends, and I might have made fun of you, and I might have, spoken very lightly, calling you like, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey friend, hey buddy, and you don't realize the greatness of the person. So therefore he feels bad and he apologizes to Krishna. Says, please forgive me for everything. And Krishna then, after that, he requests him to go back to the normal state. And finally, he says, don't worry, and assures him, gets back to the normal state. And finally, he says, this is a very rare form. Not everybody can see me in this form. Only people with devotion, single-minded devotion can attain, not even by yajna, dana, tapas, and Veda and all these things. my personal sense is that this should not be taken too literally, because the whole idea is that whether yajna, dana, tapas, all these things are basically for chitta shuddhi, for improving oneself and for adhering to dharma, to lead a righteous life. And a person who leads a righteous life and has that single-minded focus will attain the highest level, which is clearly laid out in other parts of the Gita. So here it's more, I think, to be understood in the sense of how he's assuring Arjuna that, hey, you are important, you are special, and nobody else can get this good fortune. So just like he said in the second chapter, fortunate are the warriors who have got the chance to fight in this great war, which leads directly to Viraswarga or to the enjoyment of the kingdom. Here he's talking about in a slightly different plane that, hey, this is like very important. What you have seen is very rare. Nobody has seen me in this form. And basically what happened was this vision of the Vishwarupa enabled that inner epiphany in Arjuna. It opened up this thing inside him that he got this realization in a very direct manner. Many times when we want to get the work done from our people, our friends, our associates, our employees, we have to make them feel special, right? Or if we want to get ourselves to motivate ourselves to do certain work, we have to feel special. Otherwise the notion will be, oh, so what if I don't do it, somebody else will do it, something will happen, not a big deal. But many times I have seen the high achievers who are really top of the line. They have the sense that I am ordained to do this work. When somebody is imbued with that feeling that I'm the chosen one, I'm ordained to do this, I have to do this, otherwise nobody will do it, so let me put all my efforts in. So that kind of feeling, when somebody develops along with that adherence to dharma and the loka sangraha, then the result is magic. Because somebody who is naturally gifted, who is talented, who adheres to dharma, and who has got a bigger vision of serving society, this person will be able to do wonders when they feel that they are special. Whereas if they feel that, oh, I am one more person, what change can I make? Like our great Indian voters, they are like, my vote does not count. What is the use? I will sit at home. So if you have that the average voter mentality, then nothing will happen. Whereas this person who says, I am maybe one person, but I will make a change. I will completely go and transform the whole thing. I will put my efforts, best efforts. So that mentality is important, right? And here Arjuna is the great warrior. He is the champion, Sachin Tendulkar or Brian Lara of the side. So he has to be motivated. And therefore, my sense is that these things should be taken more as assurances. And we should not drag this into very serious philosophical or intellectual analysis. So with this, we come to the end of the 11th chapter. Very poetic and very interesting. Also, it gives exposure to the bigger poetic meters, and also when we recite it, a little bit complicated also for recitation. So it has this 11 syllables per line, Trishtup meters. And that's also required to create that effect of grandeur, right? If it is all short meters, it may not be so easy. Anyway, so with this, we come to the end of 11th chapter. Now let us go to the 12th chapter, which is a very beautiful adhyaya. Two of the shortest chapters in Bhagavad Gita are the 12th and the 15th. Both of them have just 20 verses each. And the 12th especially is very popular, because a lot of times when people want to learn one chapter, they can just learn 12th chapter because it's very short and it's very, very powerful. It has a lot of instructions and kind of ideas on how we can be happy and peaceful. And if somebody understands just the 12th chapter, it's enough. You can understand Gita. So any part of Gita, that's the beauty of it, like any portion of it, if you take few verses and just meditate upon it and try to implement in your daily life, you don't have to know the entire text. You just need to get one and try to implement. That will open a window to understanding the others. And once you are able to understand even like 5 shlokas or 10 shlokas of Gita in practice, the rest of it becomes superfluous. So it's important for you to see what really resonates with you. Even you pick 2 shlokas, 1 shloka, and try to bring that into practice. It will make a huge difference. The 12th chapter especially has some of the wonderful gems. We'll come to that. So Arjuna Uvacha. एवं सतत युक्ता ये भक्ता स्वाम पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरम अव्यक्तम तेषां के योग वित्तमः. So he starts off by asking Krishna, there are people who worship you as a personal God with their mind fixed on you, and there are others who contemplate on the eternal and formless. Who knows yoga better? So if you remember, similar question was asked whether, uh, karma or sannyasa, whether I should, you are praising both action and tyaga. What is better of the two, he asked, right? Similarly, here now he's asking whether it is better to be established in yoga and union with, the Supreme, or one who contemplates on the eternal and the formless. Right? So we'll just look at the Anvaya. Ye bhaktaha, those devotees, evam satata yuktaha, who are, in this manner, they are always, established in yoga. Tvam paryupasate, those who worship you. Yecha api aksharam avyaktam, those who worship the eternal, indestructible and formless. Tvam paryupasate, they worship you as the eternal and formless. Tesham ke yoga vittamaha, among them who truly knows yoga. Right? So there's one earlier verse in the 7th chapter, where he describes the nature of the formless. Right? So 7 chapter 24th verse, avyaktyam vyaktimapannam manyante mam abuddhayah param bhavam ajananto mamavyayam anuttamam. So ignorant people think of me only as having a form. They are unaware of my mysterious higher existence, eternal and incomparable. So this is what he said in the 7th chapter, that they are unaware of my higher form. And just now at the end of the 11th chapter, he says, Mat karma krin, mat paramo, mat bhaktaha, sangavarjitaha, nirvairaha, sarvabhuteshu, yassa mameti pandava. So he says in the 11th chapter that people who are established in me, who are devoted to me, who do the work dedicated to me and who don't have enmity with the world, they attain me. So this yoga union with the Supreme in this context happens in 2 ways. Now, Krishna has described one way in the 7th chapter and one in the 11th chapter. The one in the 7th chapter is contemplating on the eternal and formless, not just on the form. And what he has said in the 11th chapter is fixing the mind on Krishna as a personal God with form and attributes. So who among these knows yoga better? Who are the people who are really knowledgeable in yoga? This is the question he is asking. So Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Evam satata yuktaye.
Evam satata yuktaye.
Bhaktastvam paryupasate.
Bhaktastvam paryupasate.
Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam.
Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam.
Tesham ke yoga vittamaha.
Tesham ke yoga vittamaha.
So who truly knows Veda? Who knows yoga? Then Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Mayaveshya mano ye mam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaha te me yukta tama mataha. So the people, in my opinion, who worship me as a personal God with form and attributes, with focus and faith, are better established in yoga. So straight, is it A or B? He says, is it personal God with form and attributes or eternal formless? It is the former. Immediately he says, yes, in my opinion, those who always worship me as a personal God with form and attributes, with focus and with faith, they are better established in yoga. ये मनः मयि आवेश्य नित्ययुक्ताः परया श्रद्धया उपेताः माम् उपासते ते मे युक्ततमा मताः. So ye manah, those whose hearts mai aveshya are always focused on the Supreme, those who are always worshipping the Supreme, nitya yuktaha, they're always connected with the Supreme, they're always meditating about the Supreme. Paraya shraddhaya upetaha. So paraya shraddha, who are shraddhaya by focus, by faith. Shraddha is through faith. So the people who are always thinking about the Supreme and with devotion in the highest, uh, Mam upasate. So those who worship me in this manner, those who attain this state of focusing on the Supreme, they may yukta tamaha mataha. So they are the people who are better yuktas, better yogis, better established in yoga. So these are the people who are more firmly established in yoga. So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha,
श्री भगवानुवाच
Mayaveshya mano yemam
मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां
nitya yukta upasate
नित्ययुक्ता उपासते
श्रद्धया परयोपेताः
श्रद्धया परयोपेताः
ते मे युक्ततमा मताः.
ते मे युक्ततमा मताः.
Then the third and the fourth will be taken together. He says, Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragam achintyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam samniyamyendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. So let's look at these two together. He says, yet those who worship the all-pervading, the eternal, the formless, the changeless, the inconceivable and the immovable, with complete control over their senses, balanced in all situations, and rejoicing in the welfare of all, they also attain the highest state. Ye tu indriya gramam sanniyamya. Those who indeed control the indriya grama means the collection of all sense organs and senses, indriyas. So the five jnanendriyas and the five karmendriyas. So those who are controlled and who have brought into their complete control the sense organs, sarvatra samabuddhayah, they are balanced in all situations, in all circumstances. They are samabuddhi, they are maintained calm, and they are balanced in their intellect, in their thinking. Sarva bhuta hite rataha, they are desirous, they are they are rejoicing in the welfare of everybody. So when other people do good, they are very happy, so they are rejoicing in the welfare of the world. Anirdeshyam avyaktam sarvatragam achintyam kuthastham achalam dhruvam cha aksharam. So these are all the attributes of the Supreme Brahman. Anirdeshyam, it is not something which is directed, it is not something which is it is self directed, it is something which goes on its own accord. And avyaktam, it is not having some form, it's beyond form, beyond it's not it's unmanifest, the something which is can be seen, or it's something beyond our senses. Then sarvatragam, it is all pervasive, it's everywhere. Achintyam, it is beyond thought. Kutastham, it is immovable, it is firmly established. Achalam, unshakable. Dhruvam, very firm and resolute. And aksharam, it is indestructible. So those who worship paryupasate, te mameva prapnuvanti, they also attain me, they also attain the highest state. So the people who anirdeshyam avyaktam sarvatragam achintyam kutastham achalam dhruvam cha aksharam, all these traits of this formless Brahman, those who are worshipping this nirguna Brahma, even they attain me. Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam
एत्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम्
अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते
अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते
सर्वत्रगम् अचिन्त्यं च
सर्वत्रगम् अचिन्त्यं च
कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवम्
कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवम्
संनियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं
संयमेन्द्रियग्रामं
सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः
सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः
ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव
ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव
सर्वभूतहिते रताः.
सर्वभूतहिते रताः.
Then he says, क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिरवाप्यते. So, greater is the trouble for those who contemplate on the formless, because it is only through much pain that they succeed in the path to invisible, formless God. So, avyaktasakta chetasam, those who are, um, aligned to, or those who are, they're more interested in the unmanifest, in the invisible, formless Brahman. Those whose minds are attracted more towards the formless. Tesham kleshaha adhikataraha. It is very difficult for them. They have to undergo a lot of hassle and pain and trouble. देहवद्भिः हि अव्यक्ता गतिः दुःखम् अवाप्यते. So देहवद्भिः हि अव्यक्ता gatihi. So the people who are dehavat, the people who have a body, who are physical beings, who are mortals, dehavadbhi avyakta gatihi. So to attain the realization of the formless is they will go through a lot of pain and troubles. So dukkham avapyate, they will have a hard time. So somebody who is a physical being, who's got a body, who's attached to the body, for such a person to connect with the formless entity, to connect with something abstract, is very difficult, and it is only through much trouble that they succeed in the path. So for example, most of us, when we are doing, whether it is trying to solve a puzzle, or whether we are trying to attend a lecture, whatever we are doing, when we have paper and pen with us and we make a note of things, we write down a phone number somewhere, or we use paper and pen, or our mobile phone, or an iPad, something to jot down points. Whereas some people don't need that. They just have fantastic memory that they can just see once and they remember. They don't need to write down anything. But if I try to do that, I'm going to have a hard time, because I keep forgetting something or the other. So therefore, there is no shame in using paper and pen or a mobile phone to help me remember. Just because somebody else is able to rattle out so many things from memory doesn't mean it's possible for everybody. And it may be a lot of hard work. Now, let's say at some advanced age, I want to memorize the entire Amara Kosha, or I want to memorize all the periodic table of elements or something. It may be unnecessary hassle. It may just be easier to go on Google and find it. So like that, sometimes we see that when we are trying to look at some very high level thing, like Nirguna Brahma, formless supreme being, is a very abstract idea, is not for everybody, not so straightforward. So in a bid to boost our own ego, that, oh, I don't do these lowly things, I do only highest level of thing, in a bid to boost our ego, sometimes we may not be prepared for it, we may not be ready to deal with that kind of situation. So therefore, he says, it is not definitely somebody who is worshipping Nirguna Brahma, or who is trying to go on that path, will also attain the highest level. But it is only through great difficulty and unnecessary hassle that he will accomplish it. So somebody who has never tried to play blindfold chess, he's trying to do that, he's going to overload his brain. Whereas initially, somebody who's, it's easier, much easier to see what is in front of you and play the game, right? So similarly, when we have a form, whether it is Krishna or Rama or Devi or whatever form that we are comfortable with, when we have that in front of our mind, we connect so much better. And the reason why, if you take Rama, Krishna, they're so popular when compared to, say, Indra or Varuna or Soma. I think the main reason for that is the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Reason we connect so much to Hanuman, we connect to Rama, to Krishna, all these people is because they have a personality for us. Whereas, what is the personality of Varuna or Soma or Indra, unless you have studied some Vedic story or something, the personalities are not so striking. At least Indra, we know there is a certain personality. But what is the difference in personality between Vayu and Agni and Soma and Mitra? More or less for us, they are all just Vedic gods. But when it comes to Ganapati, when it comes to Hanuman, when it comes to Parvati or Lakshmi, there's so many stories in the Puranas, in the Mahabharata, Ramayana, we are able to connect with them much better. This is what I feel. So, greater is the trouble for those who contemplate on the Nirguna Brahma. Easier it is when you contemplate on the Saguna Brahma. Okay. Kleshodhikatarastesham
क्लेशोऽधिगतरस्तेषाम्
avyaktasakta chetasam
अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम्
avyaktahi gatir dukkham. Sorry.
अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम्
Dehavadbhir avapyate.
देहवद्भिरवाप्यते
ये तो सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि संन्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन ध्यायन्त उपासते. So this and the next one will go together. Teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha mayaveshita chetasam. We take both these together. So those who worship me by dedicating their actions to me, considering me as the supreme goal, and meditating upon me with single-minded concentration, I liberate them at once, Arjuna, from the deadly ocean of worldly life. So Partha, Arjuna, ye to sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. So those who dedicate all their actions, sarvani karmani, all the actions, they sanyasya. So they sanyasya basically means to place or to keep or to dedicate, to offer. So the ones who offer all their actions to me, mat paraha, ananyena yogena mameva dhyayanta, and those who consider me as a supreme goal and meditate upon me with a single-minded concentration, ananyena yogena, by a peerless yoga, matchless yoga, something which is without any distractions. Ananyena yogena mameva dhyayanta. Only their only single-pointed concentration. They're not thinking about anything else, just the supreme being. Dhyayanta upasate. Those who offer their worship in this form. Aham na chirat mai. So very, very, without any delay. Aveshita chetasam tesham. So those people who are completely devoted to me, without any delay, mrityu samsara sagarat samudharta bhavami. So I liberate them without a delay from the mrityu samsara sagarat. So the deadly ocean of worldly life. So mrityu, the mortal life, the mortal samsara, the ocean of mortal life, or the deadly ocean of worldly life, can look at it in multiple ways. So basically, the samsara is looked as a sagara, like an ocean, and the idea is it's so difficult to cross the ocean, swim across the ocean, but almost leading a worldly life gives us a feeling of as if we are trying to cross the ocean. So in these two verses, Krishna says, when you dedicate your actions to me, you consider me as a supreme goal, and you focus on the supreme with single-minded focus, then at once I liberate them from this ocean of worldly life. So, ye tu sarvani karmani
ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि
mai samyasya mat paraha
मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः
ananyenaiva yogena mam
अनन्येनैव योगेन मां
dhyayanta upasate.
ध्यायन्त उपासते
Then tesham aham samudharta
तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता
मृत्यु संसार सागरात्
मृत्युसंसारसागरात्
भवामि नाचिरात् पार्थ.
भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ
Sorry, न चिरात् पार्थ, sorry. मय्यावेशित चेतसाम्.
मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्.
So at once I grant them this liberation from the worldly life. Okay, we'll look at this last one today and then finish it tomorrow. Mayeva mana adhastva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshayaha. So mayeva mana आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः. So if you fix your mind and intellect on the Supreme, you will certainly reach the Supreme state. There is no doubt about this. Mai eva manaha adhatsva. So fix your mind. So manaha, your mind, in the Supreme. So my in me. So adhatsva is like you fix your intellect, fix your mind on the Supreme. My buddhim niveshaya. So dedicate your intellect towards understanding me, or you use your intellect to focus on the Supreme. Ataha urdhvam mai eva nivasishyasi. So you will attain this higher state. You will reach this elevated state of mind. Na samshayaha. There is no doubt. There is no confusion. There is no absolutely no doubt about this. This will certainly happen. But you must focus your mind and intellect on the Supreme Being at all times. Then you will reach the Supreme. So here, this again very clear-cut assurance from Krishna. Mayeva mana adhatsva.
मय्येव मन आधत्स्व
Mayi buddhim niveshaya
मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय
nivasishyasi mayeva
निवसिष्यसि मय्येव
ata urdhvam na samshayaha.
अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः.
So there is a lot of assurance given by Krishna in multiple places in the Gita. So these, like I said, if we take any one shloka from the Gita and meditate upon it, when we think about its meaning, we try to implement it in our life. Verses like this, and sixth chapter, he says, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. And in the second chapter, he says, even a little bit of this yoga will trayato mahato bhayat, and this kind of thing, right? So these verses are useful for people when just they want an assurance. They are not managing the worldly life itself is so much of trouble, so much of a burden, that it's very difficult to make time apart from that to read something, or to do meditation, or to do some worship, or to do some ritual. Some people just don't have the time for that because of the circumstances. So in such cases, just this assurance that, hey, everything will be fine, just do whatever you're doing, do it with certain dedication. Whatever work you're doing, don't think of it as accomplishment for oneself, but a larger good. So in this manner, we are able to, these verses are able to support individuals who are more devoted, who are more drawn by bhakti, and who are unable to take too much time off from their managing the different challenges in their life. Whereas if you take some other verses, like from the sixth chapter, where people have that motivation to push their own standards, they're willing to work hard in a specific direction. So then, uddhare atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. So raise yourself by your own efforts. Don't bring yourself down. Don't look down upon yourself, and so on. Those kind of verses are helpful. And similarly, when somebody is trying to work in a single pointed manner in accomplishing something without having expectation of certain reward, and they want to work their way to the highest level, then you have like karmani avadikaraste and verses like that, which focus on the nirlepa karma, that working without attachment. So there's something in the Gita for everybody. It's a question of us going through the whole thing and then picking what are the ones which really make sense to us, and then trying to bring that into the realm of experience, and not just knowing the verses in a theoretical way. So thank you so much. We will meet tomorrow and finish